I have a controversial rant, and please don't chase me off the platform for it, but seriously, why didn't we listen to Black women?
Hey beautiful people, how you're doing today? It's your girl Destiny here, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a video of a white woman who came on TikTok to rant about why they as white women don't listen to black women when black women warn them about what is going to happen to them as a collective women in the United States. And she was ranting about this because of the LGBTQ law, trans law that has been going on, and how it has been restricted. I need you guys to hear what she has to say because I find what she said very interesting, and I have a lot to say. But let's go hear what she has to say, and then we'll come back and talk.
I have a controversial rant, and please don't chase me off the platform for it, but seriously, why didn't we listen to Black women? Why did we not listen to them? I'm watching all these emergent, fascist bills that are being passed that target trans kids. And I'm hearing in my comment section a lot, this is Gilead, this is like the Handmaid's Tale. But as I look through the history of the United States, genocide is nothing new in this country. It's not confined to some fictional book. It actually happened to Indigenous women and to Black women. And this isn't some ancient history. Before the Indian Child Welfare Act, which is going to SCOTUS to possibly be overturned soon, before that, 1/3 of all Native children were forcibly removed from their homes. So when we talk about DeSantis passing this bill that's going to forcibly remove children that are trans or have trans parents, Natives already went through this. And how many Black mothers have we seen that have lost their babies and no justice comes to them? And I've marched in BLM marches. I felt like I was listening, but I wasn't. Giving some vocal support online or, buying a pen or something, or even just showing up in marches, it wasn't enough. And to tie this back into what's going on with the LGBT community, well, we wouldn't even have a pride if it wasn't for Black trans women. I just feel like the Black community, they have tried to warn all of us white liberals for a long time that if we don't stand and fight for them, that we would be on the chopping block next. And as I'm making all these videos exposing groups like the Council for National Policy and everything, I am feeling disgusted with myself because I'm doing it because my son is trans. My son is affected. I am a lesbian. I am affected. But the truth is, I should have been doing this kind of passionate work for a lot longer. I'm 35. This should have been happening a lot longer. And it should have been focused on Black and Indigenous people who have been through this type of oppression since the foundation of the country. I can't change the past, but what I can say is that we all need to really, really listen to the communities that have lived through this, that have survived this in the past. I think we need to stop using the Handmaid's Tale as an example for what's happening when there are real people who lived through it. We need to center their history, their fight, because I truly believe that one of the reasons that we're in this situation that we are now with the rise of fascism is because we did not do enough to help the BIPOC community, to listen to the BIPOC community who's been screaming about fascism for decades.
So let me know your thought about everything she said down in the comment section, because this got a lot of people's reaction, especially Black women had response to her. And let's hear what their response is, and then I'll come back and give my opinion.
Why didn't we listen to Black women? Why did we not listen to them?
It's actually no shade to her because I think I follow her and I've learned something. But this is like Cinderella finding out that her stepsisters is mean. Girl, they are mean to you too. Your sisters used to own people. And not because their husbands told them to, okay? That is one of the most pervasive lies of patriarchy and racism together. You didn't need Black women to tell you that one. You can look around. Look around, look around. You have eyes, you have perception. You can see it yourself. You a tree, you can move. That's right, that's right. Oh, that was such a funny time on here. And forget the awareness. We've passed awareness. What are y'all finna do about it now? What are y'all finna do about it now that you are uncomfortable? Will your discomfort spur you to action, or spur you to fear? That's the part I want to talk about.
Why didn't we listen to Black women? Why did we not listen to them?
So no hate to this creator, because she did acknowledge that she basically didn't give a she was affected, but I'm going to use her video to make a point. Because over the last week or two, I've been inundated with angry white people mad at me because I said that I'm not going to put my body on the front lines to fight with them. And I stand on that. I said what the fuck I said. But this is the reason that I said it. Because you all lack empathy by default. And not all of you know, but most of you, I would say. The fact that it takes you being affected to make you give up means that human decency is not your natural state. That's crazy to me. I don't have to be a Holocaust victim to know that that shit was wrong. I don't have to be a slave to know that slavery is wrong. Like, I don't have to be affected by shit happening in this country to other demographics to understand that it isn't right. But y'all do. And I don't respect that. Because how the fuck are we supposed to trust y'all, stand with y'all, work with y'all, and you don't give a fuck on a basic level? It takes you actually feeling affected to make you care about other people. Like, this speaks volumes. And then you say, well, why didn't we listen to Black women? You did. You all have heard everything Black women have said. We've been saying the same thing forever. And what have you done? Exactly what you were doing until you were affected. Sitting back, steeped in privilege, enjoying your life and watching everybody else suffer. And this isn't about her, you guys. This is just in general. This is the overall. The overall is that nobody gives a fuck until they're affected. But they expect us to just be on the bandwagon once they decide to care. That's not how shit works. If y'all really give up, you guys hold the power. You should be out in the streets. You should be, the way you guys act like Karens towards all of us, that's how you guys should be acting towards the politicians. That's what you should be doing to change shit in this country if you really care. But you guys know you benefit from your skin color. You know that you've never had to fight the way everybody else has had to fight, and your mediocrity will fail you if you have to compete with people who've been oppressed, because it's just made everybody else stronger. But what does losing look like to y'all? Because you guys act like you're scared to lose. What exactly are you losing? What do you think what happened? There's already more Black and brown type of people in the world than white folks. If we wanted to do something, we would have been and done it. We haven't. Because we're not like y'all. We're different. We don't hate by default. We're family people. We're familial. Y'all are not. So there's nothing to fear in that aspect, but maybe there should be. I don't know. But there's nothing to fear. We've never made a threat to y'all. We've never done anything collectively to you guys. So, I don't understand y'all. I really don't. It's like I do and I don't. I don't know why somebody has to teach you to be empathetic. That sounds crazy to me. But you expect us to trust you enough to stand with you. It's wild.
Why didn't we listen to Black women? Why did we not listen to them?
It's because it didn't affect y'all until now, and white women before you didn't give it because they still thought that women who look like me, were still beneath them. So as long as they were okay, if they're above the water, everybody else, whatever happens underneath, doesn't really matter, because they can just shut the door on it and they don't have to see. They don't have to look. They don't have to, they can stay over here where they're comfortable and not have to worry about us who have been drowning the entire time and are just like, hey, we've been working and doing everything for you guys, like literally since you brought us here. And we've been raising your children and wiping your ass and working, like, since before women at large had the option to leave the home and do anything else. Like, we've been here the entire time, and we've been trying to tell you guys for decades, like, hey, this shit is not right. None of this is going to ever work out unless all of us have the exact same opportunities. And they didn't want to listen, as long as y'all were comfortable, it didn't matter. And now that they're coming for your rights now, and now that they're on y'all's necks, now suddenly it's a fire. Oh my God, now it's an emergency. It wasn't an emergency before, but now it is, because now it's an emergency for you guys, like directly. So that's why, sorry, that's the truth. But hopefully we can do something radically different and not center like the teeniest, tiniest subset of people, white men, and, expect what they want to work for everybody. So let's stop centering them and center, or at least it doesn't even have to be like at the center, like for now, like, yeah, center Black women, center brown women, femmes. Listen to us, because I don't know, if nothing else, let's try something different. Let's try listening to other people for once and see where that gets us, because focusing on the tiny little subset has got us here. So in the interest of not repeating history, let's do something different, right? Yeah, listen to us when we say, hey, this isn't right, this smells like shit, because it is shit, and you guys didn't want to look at it until it was literally like on your plate, and now you're like, oh my god, this shit on my plate. And we were like, yeah, that's what they've been cooking the entire time and telling us that it's like cake or something. Like, what? Oh, it's not funny, but it kind of is. But now is not the time to point and laugh and say, ha, you know. It's time to say, yeah, we've been here the entire time. Shut the fuck up and get behind us, because we've been here the entire time. We know what the fuck is up, and we have ideas because we've been watching the patterns the entire time. So thanks for waking up, and keep centering Black women.
We listen to Black women. Why did we not listen to them?
I think we can replay the game film of why white women didn't listen to black women till the end of time. But it would be much more productive if white women started to acknowledge certain truths. I am a white woman. Just by being born white, even though I am seen as a lesser sex in this country, I have enjoyed the advantages of being a white woman. I have not always worked to dismantle the system, so I am a part of the system of oppression that black women have been warning us against. And that is not easy to say, but we have to accept it as the truth. We are by nature selfish. Yes, we don't like being held back, but we also don't want to have to give up being at the top of the pile. Because white women will march and they will fight with black women until we might have to be equal with black women. And then we kind of scurry back to that, slightly behind and to the right of men. We need to acknowledge that.
Why didn't we listen to Black women?
Because you value your whiteness and privilege over everything. Because when you agree to become white, you forfeit your heritage, your culture, and therefore a semblance of community and sisterhood. You don't know how to listen to anybody other than white men. Because in order to listen to someone, you have to shut all the way the fuck up. And that's something that y'all don't like doing. Because ultimately, y'all don't want freedom. You want the freedom to oppress other people like white men have oppressed people. Because y'all are lazy and don't want to put in the real work it would take to actually gain liberation for all people. Because of your internalized fear and jealousy. Your dedication to mediocrity. Because of your allegiance to white supremacy, capitalism, and misogynoir. Your internalized self-hatred.
But seriously, why didn't we listen to Black women? Why?
She's asking why we didn't listen to Black women now that we're seeing all the anti-LGBT legislation going through. And the why we didn't listen to Black women sentiment is something that's been floating around for 7 years, and it hasn't changed anything. And I've seen a lot of response videos, not necessarily flaming her, but flaming the sentiment. But here's the thing. Human nature is inherently selfish. We get to a point where we are comfortable with where we are, and then we stop. And that's not me excusing it, but Black women have always been the canary in the coal mine. From medicine to technology, there's been a lot that's been trampled on the blood, sweat, tears, and bones of Black women. So something that benefits us tends to benefit everybody because we don't get a lot of benefits a lot of the time. And we see it in other places in society, right? We see it with celebrities. When celebrities suddenly get sick, then all of a sudden they're these major activists for their illnesses, where prior to them getting those illnesses, it was radio silent. So yes, listen to Black women, but ultimately, I think it's less about listening to a specific demographic and more about stepping away from comfort as the indicator of how far your activism should go. Once you've reached your pinnacle, is not the time to stop moving the needle forward. That was long. I don't know if it made sense, but yeah.
But seriously, why didn't we listen to Black women? Why?
What's good, y'all? Please make sure you guys go ahead and check out that stitch. So basically, she asked the question, Why didn't, society or these women listen to and believe black women? And the truth of the matter is that, quite frankly, the number one thing is people's freaking narcissism, okay? People do not have the empathy that they claim to have or care about situations until it affects them. So now you basically have all of these people who are losing their minds because they feel like they're losing their rights, when people who have lived without rights and have lived through systemic oppression who have said, hey, this is the patterns of this is how this is going to work, this is what's going to happen. And consistently black women have been ignored. In my opinion, it all comes down to the isms, okay? Whether it's racism, sexism, classism, the isms. Black women have a long-standing history of simply being ignored. Not only are we ignored in larger society, people outside of our community, we're also ignored in our community. And I think that black women have a gift for being intuitive, as well as us being very good at studying the past, analyzing different patterns. And I have come to find out that black women just don't simply say shit for no fucking reason, okay? But after all that, I must say this. Black women, don't come to the defense of nobody, okay? I'm an LGBTQ individual, and even in this situation, I'ma mind my business, okay? I only move for things that affect me personally, because that's how everybody else moves and acts in this society, okay? It can't be everybody just gonna kick black women in their throat, toss us all around, freaking have a boot on our neck. Okay, dismiss us, throw us to the damn wolves, and then turn around when things start going crazy and the spots start getting hot. They want to turn around and be like, oh, why didn't we listen to black women? Where's the black women? Black women have put their damn capes down. Don't call for us. Don't send for us. Don't send no owl, okay, through magical land of Hogwarts. None of that stuff. Don't send us no damn prison kite. Nothing. Leave black women alone. Okay, let's be clear about it. All right. Until society shows that they believe that black women are competent, okay, and listen to us the first time, don't call me for nothing. Okay? Peace, y'all.
Why didn't we listen to black women? Why did we not listen to them?
Go catch that full video for context. I'm going to talk more about this on my Rumble channel and my YouTube channel later on today. Oh, you're going to learn today. I'll tell you why you were not listening to black women. Because you were too busy telling black women that their black men were no good while you were still cradled in the luxuries and the protections from white men. The same white men that you were trying to get to share the spoils of his victory with you during your original feminist movement. And why is it the only time that you want to bring up black people is when it becomes an LGBTQ issue? I'm transracial. I identify as a white man with an awesome tan, but I'm sure black people will agree with me when I say that black people have a lot more issues to worry about in this country than LGBTQ issues. Now you want to turn on the waterworks and play racial identity politics when it comes down to something that directly affects you. You've done this so much that you can't tell where a black civil rights movement begins and an LGBTQ movement ends, which this was not the first time that you've used this strategy, gaining the momentum from a black civil rights issue and elevating the LGBTQ issue with it. We know you showed up at the BLM rallies. Why? Because on the BLM website, they told us clearly that they were about breaking down heteronormative black nuclear families. Your problem is that black women are not listening to you anymore, and they turned a deaf ear to you for a good reason. There's a gender war going on in black America right now, and that all is the remains of something that you started in the 1960s. Have a good day.
Why didn't we listen to black women?
For full context, you can go back and watch her whole video, but I'm just going to address this one particular question that she asked. And dear good sis, let me explain it to you. You've been brought up to be the default damsel in distress. You've been brought up to believe that you will be perpetually protected, regardless of the actions that you take. You have been brought up, and so have your sisters, to believe that protecting white men means that you will be protected. So when us black women, our brown women, our indigenous women, our women of color have been trying to sound the alarm and warn you of what's already been happening and what will happen to you, again. You've been taught to ignore us. This is what Moms of Liberty and the Daughters of the Confederacy and all of the legacy organizations throughout the United States are trying to indoctrinate you into ignoring us so that you don't learn the true history, so that the true history can keep repeating itself. Because as I keep telling people, there are a multitude that are defined within the Constitution. Tell me where in the Constitution white women are considered people. This is why they treat you the way that they do. This is why we keep sounding the alarm to let you know that the more you protect them, the more you're going to denigrate and put yourself into a box. You've been raised and conditioned for us to do all of the labor for you. And when we stop and let you reap the repercussions of your actions, when the consequences start chasing you down, then you finally see it. Then you finally start to get a monochrome of it. I suggest starting with reading Medical Apartheid. Now I have a whole series with, and the first link in my link tree is more resources for you to help get on board. But yeah, you were raised to be the default damsel in distress. Because white men need cheerleaders.
Remove children that are trans or have trans parents. I mean, natives already went through.
I'm pretty sure a black person doesn't need to tell you any of this for you to notice it. Like, use your eyes. We all have eyes. We know what happens in the world. Like, no shade. That girl was holding herself accountable in that video, whatever. But it just rubs me the wrong way when people come on here and they're like, oh yeah, now that this issue is affecting me or my family or my son, now I'm gonna say something. I know people learn, they grow, whatever. And like, no shade to the girl who made that video, but when people act like that, like the, like this is a revelation, I had no idea, now I'm gonna spew some stuff about it. Like, it just gives me the ick. Another thing, she mentioned she would go to like BLM marches and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm just like, I'm sorry. The fact that she was at these rallies or whatever she was doing and like couldn't look around or open her eyes or talk to someone and was still ignorant to the problem until it affected her. Girl.
Please don't chase me off the platform for it. But seriously, why didn't we listen?
I'm gonna keep it simple. Basically, that white woman is talking about like, oh, black women have been pointed out all the crap happening in this country. Why didn't we listen? For example, all the bans happening in Florida. So one thing I want particularly white people to realize is that there's always got to be a group at the bottom due to how America is set up. And you should unite with people at this lower part of the hierarchy to make it better for everybody. Not to make it better for yourself, but to make it better for everybody. Because if you keep ignoring it, they're going to get rid of the current bottom group. And there's always got to be another bottom group. And eventually they're just going to destroy everybody.
But seriously, why didn't we listen to black women?
You all didn't listen for the same reason why that if this passes, you all will go back to the same mentality that you had before. You only care about yourselves. People think that marching in a protest and, like you said, buying a pen or buying a t-shirt or putting a sticker on the back of their car is supposed to be efficient enough to show that you are on our side. Talking to your people and not voting for the people who pursue this hate and changing this country is what shows you're on our side. You know, that shows that you care, and that shows that you stand in solidarity with the things that's going on in this country that don't pertain to you. Black people will normally always stand for what is right, whether it has something to do with us or not, because we know how it freaking hurts and how it is to be on that side of the spectrum. And even if we don't understand exactly what you're going through, we know right from wrong, and we will literally want the right thing. And everybody make bad decisions, you know, from violent crimes to just other things that may not be in their best interest. But it has been so common to see people say, I stand with you and not stand with us. But then as soon as something happens that affects them and we choose not to stand with you, we're the problem. But weren't you just the problem? Remember, this is not just about liberals. This is the conservatives too. This stuff is affecting them too. And they're still voting like normal against their better interest. Look, I could care less which one of you all like me, because I exist in this world and I don't have to talk to you and I don't have to be around you and you don't mean anything to me individually as a person. But I would never, ever want to see something bad happen to anyone. Anyone. But I'm going to ride this out and I'm going to sit down and I'm going to let you all fix it or not. Because the only people that can fix this are the people that voted for them. See, I never vote against my better interest. So I have nothing I need to change in the course of these actions. But Republicans do. And maybe stop leading with your hate for people and start leading with, if we loved each other, it'll be so much different.
So please go ahead and share your thought down in the comment section, because that's what we do here. We have conversations, so feel free to share your opinion down in the comment section. But please do it respectfully. You don't have to disrespect anybody for you to air your opinion. So let's get there and let's talk down in the comment section. So here's my own thought on this, is that yes, she's pointing out, I like the fact that she points out our own flaws when she was ranting, talking about how she as a white woman didn't pay much attention, even though she was part of the BLM march and all that. Still, she was not listening and paying attention to what black women has been warning them as a white women community about. But now that it affects her, now she now understands. And I feel like this is a lot of things when it comes to white people or people that are not black, even people of color. They don't understand the struggle of black person, especially a black woman, is going through, because they cannot relate. So they can only relate when it's not affecting them directly, and clearly these laws are affecting them, not just the LGBTQ laws, but every other law, like abortion law, rights to birth, like all those laws are affecting everybody as a woman. And this is where I would say to women as a collective that put your color or whatever race you are aside. If there's any issue that affects women, stand up for it, speak up for it, protect it, because it might not affect you directly, but since someday it may come back for you, or maybe your daughter, your sister, somebody might be affected. So let's not just look at issues that affect women as just, oh, it's a black woman's problem, we're not just going to talk about it. And now it's not everybody's problem. Anyway, guys, let me know your thought about this down in the comment section. Feel free to share your opinion, because hey, that's what we do here. We have conversation. So go ahead, come join in the conversation. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because like I said, that's what we do here. Okay, please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, like this video, because that helps YouTube to push up my content, and that will be you supporting your girl. With that all said, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.